Hello, MCM Liverpool. How are we? Come on, Liverpool. How are you? Yes, fantastic. Right, we are joined on stage with Trina Nishimura. I got it right. Bryce Papenbrook from Attack on Titan. Round of applause for him, guys. Right, how are you both?
Doing great.
Yeah? Enjoying con so far?
Yes.
Yes? Yes. Any Attack on Titan cosplayers or any cosplayers in general that you've kind of seen and thought, oh my days, they are amazing?
Yeah, the cosplayers in the UK in general are so on point. You guys are great. Everyone looks really, really good. And the fans here are so freaking nice. Like this guy right here, super great, super great. His dad brought him. I don't know where his dad is, but he's super cool.
Yeah, Dad.
And
Good
then
job.
there's this guy. Also, the parents here. You guys have such great parents. Like all the parents bring their kids. It's awesome. In America, they're like, all right, here's $20. Go.
Yeah. Go for that dash down there. Go.
Right.
Bryce, have you found any cosplayers that you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, there's been some really amazing cosplay. Yesterday, some folks came through with the full straps, and I asked how long it took, and the dad looked at me and went, 2 hours. I'm like, it's not my fault that it took so long to put them on. He's like, yes, it is. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, yeah, you better be.
I want to apologize on behalf of Bryce and myself officially for the straps. I know they're a pain. I apologize. Just put it out there. Like, just let it go. Sorry about that. Like, maybe buy some electrical tape and just use brown electrical tape.
Just use the brown electrical.
That's what I would do.
Totally.
There you go.
Creative.
And you don't have to take it off every time you have to pee. I mean, I don't know how many, like, it takes 2 hours to put on. How long does it take to, like, go to the bathroom? You're like, oh my God,
Trina, you're the same as me. Like, some of them I look and I'm just like, that is going to be a major problem when you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, right?
That is really going to be a problem.
And, like, what if you need to number 2, right? Like, then you really
I haven't
have to
gone
go
that
and you're
far.
like, yeah. It's awful.
So, Bryce, you play Eren, and Trina, you play Mikasa. Mikasa. Okay, I apologise for that. How did you both get into your voice roles for the series? Like, how was your approach to do this?
Oh, like get into character?
Yeah, get into character and everything like that. Yeah.
For Mikasa, I didn't really have to do very much.
No.
I'm very lucky to have good friends in my life. One of them is named Ty. He's been my best friend since we were like 14. Fortunately for me and unfortunately for him. But he and I have had a super strong bond for our whole lives. And so it was really easy for me to project my relationship with Ty into the relationship of Mikasa and Eren personally. And so that sort of familial devotion and loyalty to a friend was really easy for me. I didn't have as hard of a time finding my anger as some. How did you get into character?
I'm not as angry as Eren Yeager in real life. It was a really interesting experience for me because actually Attack on Titan was the first show I auditioned for Funimation for.
Right.
So I was extremely excited to book a role like Eren on my first audition for the company. I live in Los Angeles. Funimation is in Dallas, Texas, so the commute to work was a little different.
Oh, just a bit?
Yeah, just a little bit further than I'm used to. So I would fly out to Dallas, and I actually stayed with the director, Mike McFarland, for a number of days, and we would drive to the studio every day, and Mike listens to metal music on the way to work.
Oh, okay.
So it would be, you know, about a half hour of driving listening to rah, 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 like that. And then I would get in the booth and go rah, 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 for like 8 hours a day. So it was awesome. And then I would leave Texas and I would still be angry and I would sit in traffic in LA and be like, Arr! So yeah, it was fun.
It sounds like a scene out of The Accountant. I don't know whether you've seen that when Affleck locks himself away. I can imagine you in there. Radio at full blast. I've got to get in character some way. Did you have any input into your characters at all? Did you put anything into that character yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're recording anime, you're kind of creative inside this box because the show has already been done in Japanese and they're not going to change the animation. So you have to fit the flaps and you have to stay sort of in this character that's already been created. But there is some creativity that can happen in that box. So I think, you know, I've put a lot of myself, the angry part of myself into Eren Yeager.
Yeah.
Also, when Eren goes into, everyone's seen Attack on Titan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler time. Eren becomes a Titan.
Oh
no, I've ruined it for you. So I voiced Eren when he's itty bitty Eren, teenage angsty Eren, and Titan Eren.
Right.
And the Titan roars and emotions were very different in English than Japanese.
Yeah.
And that was a creative, a choice made by Mike McFarlane and the rest of the team. But I got to do all of those big screams.
Yeah.
And I also got to do all of the Titan sort of movements. Like, there's times where Eren's kind of pulling himself forward almost like a gorilla. So I got to do these like that stuff, which was really fun. And I don't know if the Japanese did the same.
Okay.
Some of the Japanese roars, it sounds like Yuki Kaji going like for a long time. And for me, it's very similar, except they messed with it also. The engineers had a hand in it too.
Oh, okay.
And the roars are really terrifying. I love the way that they came out.
I think it's really interesting to jump on that. Like the roars that the Titans do in the English version are different in that it's not as low pitched.
Yeah.
What was that story?
So Mike decided to have the roars be like a very high pitched, almost like Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of sound, because he didn't want it to conflict on the subwoofers with the stomping of their feet.
Yeah.
Because when you hear that and it hits the sub and kind of shakes the whole room, it's terrifying. And then you hear this other sound that comes out that's the opposite end of the spectrum, and it just sort of gives you the shivers.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Mike was going for, and I think he did a great job selecting that.
Great. So which kind of screams and roars would you say are more intense, the original or your guys' ones?
I think your Titan screams are. I mean,
Thank you.
It's not just because I know you. You're talented. We get it. But no, like your screams are really. I really feel like the low and the high, because everybody knows that scream. Like everybody knows the.
Can we have a scream?
Oh, okay.
Do you want the building to collapse?
Yeah.
If I really, you're like, no problem.
No problem, man. We'd all love it.
One, it's super dangerous. Is that? Are you up to it physically?
You don't have to. I'm just saying I would love it.
Oh my God. How awesome would it be if we both screamed and then the entire stadium just stopped?
Yeah,
to be quite fair, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Everyone here is like really intense. You go, just do it. Just do it. Everyone else around is just like, what are they talking about? Just say it.
Can you imagine a scream that brought an entire stadium to I'm just saying.
This is that moment right now.
No pressure.
Oh,
do
there it's
it.
going.
Actually, screaming for this show is different than screaming in any other show.
Yeah.
Because Mike wanted something that sounded like there's blood in your throat as you're screaming.
Wow.
And then sometimes there was blood in your throat.
Yay!
Yay!
So there were moments in this show also where Eren bites his hand.
Yeah.
So to make that sound realistic, I bit my hand, and I bit it so hard that I left bruises in my... Oh, there he is! He's biting his hand!
There you go.
So that's what I looked like in the booth, just with headphones on.
Did you cut the skin? Did you actually bleed?
Did you actually? Yeah.
I wasn't bleeding, but it left a bruise for sure.
I would say.
And it sounded amazing.
It did. It did sound
wow.
awesome. Super dope.
So we're not going to put this MCM Liverpool on standstill then for now.
Maybe later. Maybe
Later.
later.
Maybe later. Right. Okay. Then guys. Right. So what do you most like about the story? What's the best aspects of the story that you absolutely love?
I really like and I'm sorry for those of you that were there yesterday, but I really like the way that gender roles are broken down. So instead of, in typical, with typical female characters that are leads, they have to be sexual, right? And hypersexualized for no reason at all, right? And the girl can be smart, but she can't be strong. The girl can be needs to be emotional and be like the heart of the show. And I love that Mikasa is the strongest fighter, and she isn't scantily clad, and she isn't apologetic, and she's smart and knows when she needs help from her friends. And similarly, I mean, the same sort of gender stereotypes are put upon men or boys, where you have to be cut and you have to be the best fighter and you have to, have all of these things. But Armin, for example, is emotional, and he's smart, and he's allowed to be smart as a male character. And he's not a good fighter, and that's okay because he knows when to lean on his friends.
Yeah.
Similarly, there's a character in the show that doesn't have a gender specification, which I think is really cool. I think it's a really amazing sign of the times that little boys and little girls and people in general don't need to fit in the boxes that society has forced us into, or if they want to be a princess, they can. Your world.
Exactly. Yeah. What about you, Bryce? Anything to add on that?
Yeah, I love the twists and the turns of the show. I was a fan of the show as it was coming out in Japan.
Yeah.
And there were about 6 episodes that had come out. Episode 5, Eren is eaten by a Titan. And I was just like, what? No. And then episode 6, he doesn't come back. I'm like, I just got Game of Thrones. and that's when I was really hooked on the show, and I couldn't stop watching. I didn't guess any of the twists and turns. And for season 2, that's right around the corner, I have no idea what's about to happen. And everyone who's read the manga, don't say anything. Don't tell me. No spoilers. So I can't wait to see more.
Yeah. So what do you find most interesting about Eren and Mikasa? Right, I'll get there in the end. Don't you worry, Trina. So what do you find most interesting about both characters?
I mean, Eren is a really interesting character. There's just this level of raw emotion that he has and that I had to bring to that character that I don't think any of my other characters have had. Usually, the characters kind of think their actions through a bit more, where Eren is just like, now it's time to take action. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
And there was a running joke throughout recording of I would deliver a line, and then immediately I would say as Armin, Eren, no! Eren, wait! No! No! Actually, the engineer, after recording, sent me some of Armin going, of Josh Greeley recording his Armin going, Eren, no! I think that was my ringtone for a little while.
Was it?
Yeah.
So what do you find both most challenging about recording an episode of Attack on Titans? Is it very straightforward for you both, or do you find it challenging in different ways?
I think that recording an episode of Attack on Titan is challenging and easy. I mean, it depends on what you're doing that day. For example, if you're going to be screaming a lot that day, then you need to vocally prepare for that so you don't hurt yourself. If you're going, like, there have been some episodes where it digs into a lot of emotional, like, trauma and backstory for my character specifically, and I know for yours as well. And for me, like, I need to mentally prepare for that to go in so that I'm not just like, oh, I'm crying, I'm a sad character, you know? So I think emotionally and physically you just prepare as well as you can for the work, and then hopefully it's an easy day because you're prepared, and if it's a tough day, then you go home and eat some chocolate.
Yeah. And you, Bryce?
Yeah, it really does depend on the day and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, for example, we got to this one moment where there's this pole that's gone through Eren's shoulder. And, of course, he doesn't pull it out this way. He goes the other direction and lets out this huge scream as he does this. So we got to that moment, and it was right around lunchtime. And Mike McFarlane's like, hey, let's go grab some lunch. So we go to this place called Muya Burger in Texas. Do you guys have a Muya Burger here?
No.
Okay, so I'm from California, and they say everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
No joke. Burger is huge, and they had sweet potato fries on the menu. I love sweet potato fries. I ordered the large one. The large one is a mountain of sweet potato fries.
Wow.
Like on a pizza tray.
Yeah, literally filled to the brim. So I shared these with Mike, but we finished the burger and all the sweet potato fries. So we each had a burger and finished it all. So I got back to the studio, and I was like, oh, I'm so full of sweet potato fries. And that scream was up next.
Oh, no.
So this is what it sounded like when I tried to do Eren's scream after eating a mountain of sweet potato fries. And Mike just looked and went, yeah, let's try that again. So when you're about to record, you get 3 beeps. So it went beep, beep, beep. I was so full of sweet potato fries, I couldn't physically get enough oxygen in my body to scream like Eren Yeager. So that was a tough day. That was challenging. The next day I went in not full of sweet potato fries, did it on the first try.
Right.
But if you want to scream like Eren Yeager, don't eat a mountain of sweet potato fries.
Take that under consideration, guys.
Yeah, normal fries might get you too. Well, just don't eat a mountain of them.
So spoiler, how did you react when you found out that Eren becomes a Titan?
I mentioned before I was
Yeah.
a fan of the show, so I had watched in
Yeah.
Japanese. I had no idea what was coming. Like, I did not guess that. And when it happened, like, that is one of my favorite moments in the show. People always ask me, what's your favorite line? You know, can you do a line? Sorry, you've heard this a million times.
I love this line.
Go
so-
for
I
it.
love this line because
Yeah.
Bryce is such a nice, happy. Like, look at this guy.
He is. He's just like
so
the happiest
sweet.
man in the world.
He's like nice and happy and cheery. Like, you also don't know because he never tells anybody because he's modest and a nice human being. But he's also a trained killing machine.
Oh, wow.
He has like all the ninja arts belts or something. I don't know. But if you Google Bryce Papenbrook roundhouse kick, you can actually see Bryce knock a person out like with one kick. He like goes spinning through
Nice,
the air
Bryce.
and like, yeah.
I've done quite a bit of Muay Thai.
And
Oh,
so
okay.
knowing full well that he's like a happy, sweet guy and my
Look at
friend,
him.
and he can also like literally kill me with a kick. Watching him go from this to like into character and do the line, it's kind of terrifying. But that's all. So go ahead.
Yeah, go.
It's scary.
And now talk about how you kill people.
Right?
Yeah.
So the moment Eren turns into a Titan, he's like in this Titan's stomach, and you just see like this hand punch out, and he like pulls himself out, and there's this little like creepy baby Titan, and he just punts it across the room, and then he's stepping on this other Titan's neck, and he's like, get up, let me kill you again, and again, and again. It's a good moment.
It is.
Really,
Hey, round of applause, Bryce.
I want you to like someday I'm gonna play this back so you can see your face and how
Yeah.
scary it
It is. It's like he changes.
He does
He just
change.
changed. Like you go from.
Yeah, it's scary. It's like, oh, this might be it for me. Like deuces. Like
Yeah.
I feel like when I get into character, and I don't know if every actor does this, I have to make
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
you
face
do.
that my
Yeah,
character's making.
absolutely.
So really, to do Eren Yeager's voice, I have to sort of furrow my brow and make myself angry.
yeah.
You say that, Bryce. I brought this up in a review that I'd done with Dale. Basically, I don't know if you've seen it. Hugh Jackman, when he was doing ADR for Logan.
I saw that video.
Have you seen
Doug.
that? And he was full in there, like he was living that moment. And
Yes.
I'll tell you now, it's the end raw he done as well. And he was shaking. And then the next bit he turns and goes, oh, hello. Like, it's just that kind of, in-depth kind of when you get into that role and the passion you get. I appreciate every moment of that. It is.
And I think the willingness to put yourself out there, and
Yeah.
I've walked out of the booth dripping sweat. It's a workout if you
Yeah.
really get into it and live the character. So with this show, it's so intense.
And you're so angry. It's true.
It's hidden away.
Whenever people meet us, they're like, "Oh, are you guys the voice actors for Attack on Titan?" Because I don't have a super low voice, and I'm usually a pretty happy person.
Yeah.
And he's so nice and smiley. They're like, "Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, he can get really angry, and I can get really, really morose. Like,
Yeah.
just give me a moment. Dead. I'm dead inside."
Hold on one second. Yes, I'm Eren Yeager. Okay, now we believe you.
Yeah. So Trina, if your character was given a Titan form, what would you think her unique ability would be, and what would she look like, and do you think she would keep that scarf?
One, I think accessories are very, very important. Two, I think if Mikasa was going to turn into a Titan, she'd probably be, she would probably have like some sort of crazy swords or like weapon, or
Yeah.
she'd like be weaponized somehow.
Okay.
I do think she'd keep the scarf because it's important to her. It would just be like a weird friendship bracelet, but yeah, I
Just
think-
like around her finger.
right?
Yeah.
Like, love you. Yeah, I think that would be dope. But I also know that like Mikasa, like there's no way Mikasa's a shifter. We haven't read ahead, right, in the manga, and we don't know what happens in season 2 yet either. And so I don't think she's a shapeshifter because I would really want her to be a shifter
Yeah.
because I really want to be a Titan because otherwise you're just fodder, right? But yeah, so I would want to be a Titan, but I don't think I'm that lucky.
I was just going to say, we've touched on season 2. It airs on the 1st of April. Are you both excited about that? Will you be watching?
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Neither of us have been spoiled to this point, so please don't. So we're really excited to see what happens.
Have you gotten any fake spoilers?
Oh, like people trying to trick me? Like,
What is your best fake spoiler that you've heard that you're kind of like, please be true?
Oh, no, it wasn't like, please be true. It was like, oh my God, I have no job security.
Say that.
They were like, oh yeah, Mikasa dies. And I was like, excuse me? And they were like, oh yeah, Mikasa totally dies. It's the worst. She dies, and so it's like in episode 2 of season 2. And I was like,
Stop right there.
And like, I was on a panel. I was like, I just need like 5 minutes, you guys, just 5 minutes. And I called Mike, and I was like, Mike, I'm on a panel right now. I just need to ask you really quick. Does Mikasa die? No, I'm serious. Yes, I'm on a panel. Yeah, it's inappropriate. All right, I'm just gonna. But she doesn't. Okay, thanks. Bye. That's not true.
You heard it here first.
It's not true. Well, I'm not sure. That's what he said. He was like, I think somebody would have told me if one of my main characters dies. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if they would. What about you? Have you got any fake ones?
people have told me there's just, like, they know what's in the basement, and it's just random stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's nothing special in there. There's like, there's like a clown costume in there. Or
Look
something.
at the shock on his face. It's like, no, there's got to be more.
Yeah, wait, we've been waiting so long. What?
There's like a washer and a dryer.
Yeah, it's just a normal basement. There's not. He opens the door and there's nothing.
Garden tools.
Yeah.
Like, some of those old pool noodles, you know?
So I think we're going to go for some fan questions.
Yeah.
If anyone has a question, guys, have a good think. These guys are just going to answer 3 questions if we can get them going out to them. We'll give the mic to our lovely assistant, Steph.
Yay, Steph.
There's Steph. Trina's saying hello, Steph.
Hi, Steph.
So if you could put your hand up in the first couple of rows then, guys, or just around the outside.
There's
no
a
one
little
quite
boy
deep.
right over here.
Little one here. If you can go straight up to him, straight away, guys. It's on.
Steph, will you turn that on for him?
Oh.
You can have my microphone.
Stand up for me, sir. Stand up.
Yeah.
Why did you name yourself Eren?
What's that?
Why was the character named Eren?
Yeah.
I don't know why the characters had those names, but you know what I think is interesting? The show is a Japanese anime, but it's not necessarily based in Japan. It seems like a lot of the characters are Germanic and I think Mike McFarland and the writers did a lot of research on the names of the characters. I think Eren Yeager has some specific meaning. I think it means the hunter. Not positive on that. Does anyone know that? Can anyone confirm? Yes. So
Everyone's like, yeah, duh. God.
Yay! So I think that is going to have to do with something moving forward. I hope. But it is kind of interesting that the names aren't Japanese names. That's sort of common in anime, but they're very different. Great question.
Trina and Bryce, we're right behind you. I've got a question
Hi,
here.
Puddin'.
Hi.
Hi. I was just wondering, what did you think of Armin's scream?
Oh, Armin screams?
So the scream you're probably talking about
Yeah.
is right as Eren's kind of getting eaten. And Armin the scream that Josh Greeley let out is just so intense. It just gives you, like, the chills. And I thought it was amazing.
He perfectly captured that moment, like, of being on the cusp of death and then having your friend, like, throw their life on the line for you. Like, so imagine, if you will, like, that moment and your best friend, and then being, like, saved by your best friend and watching your best friend die all at once. And then be like, okay, so now we're going to need you to put that into a scream. Like, all those feelings, like the fear, the sorrow, the gratitude, and everything else. But all you have is one scream, and the mouth is open for 5 seconds. Yeah. Go. Like, it's a lot, and he's so talented.
I saw something really funny online, because there's always random stuff online. Someone had taken the audio of Josh's scream, and they show Armin and a spider. and then he screams when he sees that spider. The same like super high-pitched scream.
It's awesome.
It's great.
I like it. So time for 2 more, 1 and 2. So, oh no, we've got one at the back there.
Were there any funny outtakes trying to go into your characters?
Were there any funny outtakes going into our characters? I think for me, Mikasa was so morose and so emotional, but she did never show it. So like keeping all of that inside and then delivering lines was really hard on me emotionally because it was just so many feels. But I mean, Mikasa has so many feels and she has so much love and so much devotion and so many things, but she can't express them. Right, for a multitude of reasons that I won't go into because we don't have time. But I think that like my favorite thing that would be funny in between is I would get into this place where I was so sad and I was just so weighed down, and then Mike McFarland, the amazing director, would just like slide a YouTube video of kittens playing onto the screen. He'd be like, "Look, Trina, cats," and I'm like, "It's not real, Mike. I'm not in that life." And he's like, "No, look at the cats, honey. Let's look at the cats." I'm like, "Kitties." Like, it's so good. You?
I was on pretty good behavior because it was my first time working at Funimation, and I wanted to come across as a professional and not fool around from day one. But I think the Eren no in Armin's voice was just a running gag through the whole series of recording. And by the end, it turned into this almost like Mr. Bill, like, Eren no! So I would just let a bunch of those out. I would just say a line and go, Eren no. No. No! Constantly.
So, next question. Oh no.
What's your opinion on Eren x Levi?
Oh, a shipping question. So, and I'm sorry, you've probably heard this a million times too, but
Love it.
we were at a convention in Australia, and this girl comes up and says, "Can you say something as Eren Yeager for me?" And I'm like, "Of course, sure. What would you like me to say?" And she's like, "Could you say Levi looks dead sexy in a miniskirt?" So immediately, without a beat, I looked her straight in the eye and just went, "Levi looks dead sexy in a miniskirt."
Oh God.
The Levi X Eren
Round of
is
applause
strong.
for Bryce, everyone. Come on. One more question, guys.
For someone else who hasn't read the manga but watched the anime, what would you want most to happen to Eren and Mikasa?
Good question.
I feel like that season 2 is going to get into some really like dark and difficult themes as far as like socioeconomic equality, safety of the rich versus the poor, and things like that. So I would like for it to be kind of Hunger Games-esque, because it already kind of is, right? Like I'd like for it to be Hunger Games-esque, and whoever, like the rich people in the middle of the city and like the interior wall, the wall to end all walls, would all just be pushed out and become Titan fodder, and then like all the kids would be like, "Woo, we love everything, and party, party," and all the Titans would be like, "We're just kidding you guys. We just wanted to eat those guys in the middle," because everyone knows the center of the Tootsie Pop is best.
Bryce?
It is.
Truth. I want lots of action. I want to see Eren fight and smash things.
Yeah.
And Mikasa slice people up. I'd love to see that. I'd also like them to bring Derpy Titan back.
Derpy
This
Titan.
one. I think he needs to return. He needs to have like an arc where we see like the development of Derpy Titan.
I want Derpy Titan and Santa Claus Titan to have like a Three's Company situation.
Yeah.
You know, like it's Derpy Titan, Santa Claus Titan, Baby Titan, and they all get into like trouble. Like they all share an apartment in New York. You know? They go on crazy dates, get into adventures. Maybe they find a strange baby. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel a spin-off coming.
That's
Wouldn't that be awesome? They all share an apartment in New York that's far too expensive for those Titans to afford.
Maybe that'll be in the works. You never know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Development. Right. So, guys, we're going to end it there. I'd like to say a massive thank you to you both, Bryce and Trina. Thank you for coming on stage and giving us your time. A round of applause for them, ladies and gents.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Remember, guys, please like, subscribe, share this, go to our MCM Buzz YouTube page, give us a good thumbs up again, and press that notifications bell so you don't miss out on anything. Thank you once again, Bryce and Trina.
Thanks.